Yes, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to former PFL World Champion light heavyweight main man Rob Wilkinson. Good to see you, Razor, up against Phil Davis, May the 1st, PFL 2025 World Tournament Round 4. It's all happening. How do you feel about this matchup with Mr. Wonderful?
Yeah, I'm excited. I think he's probably the biggest name in the tournament. I think he's one of the toughest fights, and that's what I'm looking for. I want these big fights. That's how I can make my name. How I can kind of stamp myself as one of the best fighters in the world. So yeah, I think it's going to be a good fight.
How do you feel about this stage of your career? It must be so difficult, clinching, striking, grappling, running, dieting. It's the toughest sport out there, and just staying motivated every single day. How do you do it? How do you stay in love with the game?
I don't know. I've always loved training. I've always loved competing. Um, yeah, I've recently just moved back to Australia to do my camps again, and that's kind of I think that's really helped just fall in love with it again and make sure I'm really enjoying what I'm doing.
What are you most pleased with at this stage of your career in terms of your all-round game?
I'm pretty happy with my the progress I made with my striking. I started as a very heavily like wrestler, ground and pound with some submissions, but after the UFC, I really worked on my striking, and I think I'm very happy with the knockouts I've been getting lately.
Mentioned at the top, former champion in the PFL. How do you feel about the format? A lot of fans love it. Does it appeal to you?
What was that? Sorry?
How do you feel about the PFL format? Do you enjoy
Oh,
it?
yeah, yeah, I do. I do. Yeah, I do like the format. I like the back-to-back fights. It's usually the first one you just got to get in shape for, and then after that you're ready, and uh, it's good that you don't have to you don't slack off after the fight. You just get ready for the next one. I do like it.
Having been the champ, does that give you an edge? That having tasted that gold, been there and done it, does that give you something extra?
I definitely want to relive that. I want to get that belt again. Um, as soon as I won it, I felt like you know I, I just had to do it again. So. Uh, but I don't know if it gives you the edge. Everyone knows I've done it before, and before I won it, I was probably a bit of the underdog. No one kind of really knew who I was and came up and won. So now everyone knows me, and I'm sure training hard to beat me. But same as Phil Davis, he's a former Bellator champ. And he wants another belt. So I think it's going to be an exciting fight.
Can you break it down for us? How do you see it going technically in terms of your two skill sets?
Uh, I think I think Phil will kind of keep the range and the striking, try and keep his distance, and then use his try and time a good takedown and kind of just control me on top. But I'm looking to pressure him with my striking, defend the takedowns, and make him pay when he does try and wrestle.
You never know with the PFL what kind of wild announcement's going to come next. Patrice Evra, I saw, is going to have an amateur fight. Soccer fan, 43 years old, Man United legend. What do you make of that?
I did see that. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see who fights. But yeah, you do never know.
What's this? It was the same thing when they announced Francis Ngannou. What have you made of him in the PFL and the fact that they were able to sign him over everyone else and pay him good money?
Yeah, I mean it was great for the PFL. And obviously he came, won the belt. I'd love to see him fighting again soon. I think that's the main thing is just seeing those big names fighting regularly. You haven't seen him too much, but it'll be good to see him again this year.
Do you think we can ever see a UFC PFL crossover? Do you think we'll ever see Ngannou versus Jones, or is that ship sailed? Why do you think it never got made?
Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's enough money. Maybe it would happen. I'm sure the PFL would love to make it happen, but yeah, I don't know if UFC want to do that or not. Don't even know if Jones is going to fight again. He doesn't look like he's even going to fight Tom Aspinall. So yeah, it might have sailed.
The PFL, Don Davis, didn't he offer 50 million to make that fight happen? That is awesome. I mean, does that excite you knowing that you're with a promotion looking to make big moves like that?
Yeah, they definitely want to make big moves, and they're trying to establish themselves as the best MMA promotion, and they really want to challenge the UFC, and that's definitely what the sport needs right now.
What do you make of the 1 million prize money? It was massive. What a revelation in a sport that often gets criticized for not paying its fighters enough. I mean, how significant is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge amount of money, and that's what really excited me. I was so pumped when I signed with the PFL, knowing that I was just 4 fights away from making that sort of money. Yeah, it's a lot of money, and it's good that it just goes to the guy that's winning, not the guy that's talking the most or got the most social media followers or any of that.
PFL does have some critics from some of its own fighters, but you've been pretty happy there, right? Is that fair to say? I mean, do you understand the criticism?
I've been happy, yeah. They're a new promotion and they're trying to do a lot, and they are doing a lot. And I get that sometimes they might drop the ball a little bit, or uh, I've seen that fighters are struggling to get. That's probably the main thing. The top fighters when they're not getting fights, I think that's really hard. I'm not sure if they just don't want to do the tournament or not, but I guess that's a good thing. I know if I'm in the tournament, I'm getting fights as long as I'm winning. And they've always looked after me, so I've been very happy with them.
I mean, the one recently was Patricio Pitbull, right? He seemed to have a bit of a fallout, but do you think, is there any advice to be had for fighters who aren't getting along?
I mean, I don't know. Obviously, it's different for each fighter. As I said, I've always had a good experience with them. I'm in the tournament. I'm getting my fights. I'm happy. I'm happy where I'm at. Yeah, I'm not sure if the fighters don't want to do the tournament, if they just want to fight on the regular cards. And I know they don't do that very often, so I'm not sure if that's the hold up in getting fights. But um, yeah, I don't know.
What do you think about the level of light heavyweight across the board right now? Do you pay attention to like the Alex Pereiras and the Ankalaevs and what they're doing? You never know what can happen, right?
Yeah, I love watching those guys as well, and that's what that's been my goal since I've started is to be the best in the world, regardless of the promotion. So I've always got my eye on those guys, and yeah, I'd love to end up fighting someone like that in the future. I don't know if the PFL, as you said, PFL UFC do a crossover event or anything like that. I mean, it'd be huge if they did, but yeah, I'd be very happy to step into that.
What's on your bucket list for your career? Is there anywhere you'd love to fight or any place, person, anything you've got to achieve?
Um, I mean, I'd love to fight back in Australia on a big promotion. I know PFL are coming back there at the end of the year, so I'm pretty excited that I'll be able to fight in Australia. But yeah, I just want to fight. Also, would love to fight in London as well. Just fight all over, really. That was one of my goals when I started was to be able to travel and fight. Um, yeah.
Who gave you the nickname Razor?
I think it was Connor Murphy, one of my training partners when I first started. It was before my very first MMA fight, and in my first camp, I ended up cutting 3 of my training partners. Um, so he started calling me Razor Rob.
Do you think there's something special about the Anzac fighters? I mean, you got yourself a world champion. We all know about Volk, and you fought Izzy as well. There's there's some amazing fighters from that part of the world. Do you think it's built for MMA?
Yeah, there are. There's a lot of good fighters. I think we're pretty tough down there, and I think we got really good fighters coming through. I think now it's starting to build. We've had those guys like Volk, Whitaker, and Izzy kind of leading the way, and now you see all the younger fighters really coming through, and there's a lot of them kind of coming through and doing very well. So it'll be interesting to see how big MMA gets in Australia over the next 5-10 years.
Izzy has had a tough run of it, having absolutely smashed it in the UFC. You were one of the first people he fought. He wants Strickland again. Do you think he'll be back? And do you think he'll get that one back?
I think he can get that one back. I was down there earlier this year training at the gym with him to the kickboxing, and yeah, I mean he's still hungry. He still wants to fight. I mean, when you're fighting the best of the best, it's hard to always be winning. So just because he's lost a couple, I don't think it means he's dropped off at all.
What's it like down there? Is there like a special vibe? What's Eugene like?
They just train hard, man. They really push themselves. Eugene's a great coach, and you can see he wants the best out of everyone. But they're all just showing up, and they're all just pushing themselves and training. They do train really hard. They really push themselves hard.
We mentioned Alex Pereira earlier, of course, Izzy's big rival, but he's 37, was the champ at 37, 4 years older than you are, and he's still smashing it, probably the biggest star in the sport. Is that inspiring that at this weight class, maybe you have more longevity?
Yeah, it does. You see that a lot with this weight class, and the light heavies and heavyweights that they kind of sometimes peak a little bit later and they last a bit longer. You see, Phil Davis is even 40, and if that was a lighter weight class, you might kind of think he's a bit over the hill or write him off, but I'm not writing him off at all. Uh, yeah, you see the late 30s, early 40s fighters at this weight class doing very well. So, as long as I'm staying healthy and enjoying what I'm doing, I've got a long future for myself in fighting.
Portan's a beautiful striker. Did he get found out in the end? Did time catch up with him, or do you think he'll get gold again?
I think he could get gold again. It's hard to say. I'm not sure if it was the threat of the wrestling or if he was just looked a little off that night, but he just didn't seem to get going. But at the same time, he defended the takedowns well. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say on one night. You never know what's going on with a fighter.
What do you enjoy most about the PFL?
I just love that I get to do what I what I love to do. I know I'm going to fight regularly. I'm going to fight back to back to back, and uh, and it's nice kind of getting prepared for the season, prepared for the tournament. And once you're done, you can kind of really relax, have a bit of time off, and then go again for the next year.
You've done a bit of boxing, right? Is there any big celebrity boxing fights in your future? Do you want to beat up any YouTubers?
I've had a pro boxing fight. I've won a Tasmanian title, so I would like to box. I did enjoy it more than I thought I would. I did that when it was COVID, and I just couldn't get any MMA fights going. But you know, obviously, I'd love to do anything like that. Jake Paul's signed or whatever with the PFL, but I'm not sure if he's going to do any MMA. But I'd happily do a boxing fight with him. Yeah, that'd be sick.
What do you make of his boxing? A lot of people have an opinion on this.
I mean, I think he's better than most people like to admit. He's definitely fully committed to it. You can see he trains hard and he's getting better each fight. But I still don't think he's like one of the best boxers in the world or anything like that. Yeah, I think he's decent and he's putting a lot of effort into it and he's getting better every fight. But yeah, I'd love to test myself against him.
Would you win?
I'd say so.
What it's crazy like how many so many legends like that he beat them in boxing, but do you think that's just something fans need to understand that it's a different sport?
It's a different sport for one. I mean, two, the guys he's fighting are often retired or a fair bit older, or he's a fair bit bigger than. I think would be similar size, and I'm not over the hill. I'm not like a retired MMA fighter. I'm still probably in my prime, going into my prime. So I think it's a little bit of a different story.
What did you make of the Eubank walkout? I thought that was one of the most iconic moments in recent history. The dad and son, like as a dad, I just thought it struck a chord. What did you make of it?
I didn't actually see that one.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
Chris Eubank and his dad hadn't spoken for years. There was a massive fallout, and then his dad appeared, and they walked out together on the
well,
weekend. It was massive.
yeah, yeah. That's really good. Nice moment.
Do you put much stock into walkouts? I'm someone who loves the spectacle of it. Like, how do you find the PFL walkout? Is it something that you relish? The fans seem to love it.
Yeah, I do love a good walkout. I always change my song every fight and try and get pumped up by that. And I've had a couple of favorites like my fight last year, the first fight of the tournament. We walked out through the crowd. And that was probably one of my favorite. The crowd was going crazy, chanting my name, and it just, a good walkout really pumps you up for the fight and gives you a good energy going into it.
What genre do you usually go for? Do you switch it up or?
I do. Last year I was doing a lot of I think all my fights were ATCD. I did like Back in Black for the first fight. But often I've done like the first year I was doing a lot of like Fred again, like disco, like a techno sort of music. Yeah.
Quality. And so I'll finish up with a little quick fire. So, who is the funniest fighter in MMA?
Who's the funniest fighter in MMA? I mean, I don't know if he's still in MMA, but Chael Sonnen.
Who's the most annoying?
Annoying fighter in MMA. Oh, who just fought on the weekend? In
Oh,
the
what?
UFC?
Ian Gary.
Ian Gary.
Who's got the best grappling?
Best grappling, probably Islam.
Who would you most like to have dinner with?
Most like to have dinner with probably Chael Sonnen. He's my hero.
Nice. Who's the best dressed?
Best dressed. I don't know. Izzy's always looking pretty sharp.
Who's the hardest worker?
Volk,
Yeah, good one. And best fight IQ?
best fight IQ. Probably Mighty Mouse.
Best hands?
Um, Ilya.
Most interesting female fighter?
Dakota.
Who would you most want by your side in a street fight?
Francis.
It's got to be. And if you could fight anybody, past or present, in any weight class, who would it be?
Or Chuck Liddell.
Great shout.
Yeah.
Razor, Rob Wilkinson, you're the man. All the best. Good luck for the fight. I appreciate your time.